Thank you for testimony. Oh, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Forgive me. I wasn't trying to skip you.
That's fine.
Just taking over.
All right. My name is Joseph Rosenzweig. I'm a logistics worker. I'm a resident of Orleans Parish. I'm a proud union member. I drove up from New Orleans today to voice my opposition to this disgusting bill, which is yet another attack on the working class issued by a millionaire politician. I say that because when we consider these bills, we ought to consider who's behind them, who's sponsoring this bill. Blake Miguez is the sponsor on this bill. I don't know if he wrote it. It may have been Alec, the American Legislative Exchange Council seems to write a lot of the bills put forth in Louisiana legislature. But his name is on it. So let's consider what Blake's record is for the workers of Louisiana, either U.S.-born or foreign-born. Senator Blake Miguez is a millionaire CEO in the energy and logistics sector. He touts that he has a fleet of vessels that ship workers out to the oil rigs.
Let me stop you there for 1 second. Senator Talbot.
Are we really going to listen to this? I mean, if you want to talk about the bill, talk about the bill. But hold on, I'm talking. Hold on.
Okay.
But we're not going to. I don't want to listen to this testimony trashing the author of the bill. He has a right to file any bill he likes, and we don't do that here. If you want to talk about the merits of the bill, talk about the merits of the bill. But we don't need to disparage his character. He has a right to file a bill as his representing his constituents.
What I would like to do is to speak to his legislative record. His legislative record.
Excuse me, sir. We try to do best to stay on the bill, the four corners of the bill.
Okay.
And I would highly advise against, personally attacking one of our colleagues up here.
All right.
Whether you agree with the legislation or not, there's a decorum that we try to keep.
Okay.
In
Sure.
this body. So if you can, stick to the issues of the bill.
Yeah, I'll speak to his record as a legislator, both in the House and the Senate, which is important to establish what his motivation is in putting forth this bill. So
I couldn't disagree more. And listen, I'm not the chair of this committee, but I do chair another one, and we try to keep all discussions and talking to the actual substance of the bill itself and not the character of the bill author.
It's not the character of the bill author. It's the record, the historic record of the legislation that he has put forth.
I've never had to cut off a mic before, and I'd really rather not do it right now. So I think you made your point to some extent. If you want to talk about the substance of the bill, this is the last time I'm going to say this. Talk about the substance of the bill, but not the author itself.
Sure. What I am supposed to believe, ostensibly as a citizen worker of Louisiana, is that this bill has been introduced, that has been introduced by Miguez, is meant to protect my well-being or the well-being of any other worker in Louisiana, U.S.-born or foreign-born. I'm supposed to believe that, in fact, as a U.S.-born worker, I get some special benefit by this plan to target and persecute my immigrant brothers and sisters. Now, I want to speak personally here. These are our family members that we're talking about. These are our coworkers. These are the kids that in our carpools when we're going to school. These are the folks that we work alongside in our kitchens, our warehouses, and our construction sites. And I'll tell you that though my first language is different from my immigrant coworkers, perhaps, I have a lot more in common with these people than with the Merguezes, the Trumps, the Landrys of the world. As a worker, and I speak here for all workers of Louisiana, we need higher wages, we need access to child care, we need the cost of insurance and housing to go down. All of these things are opposed, and there is a legislative record to indicate the opposition of the likes of Miguez to these policies. The policies that are spelled out in this bill are an attempt to drive our fellow workers into the shadows. They're in attempts to intimidate us from organizing with the threat of prison or deportation. It's no accident that the largest ICE raid to date, which rounded up around 680 workers a few years ago at a poultry processing plant in Mississippi, was an attempt to break up union organizing drive that was meant to seek redress for women workers that were experiencing sexual abuse. And the fact is that this bill, in attempting to criminalize and in attempting to drive into the shadows a certain sector of the working class, is an attempt, first and foremost, to render big profits to the corporations that are the benefactors of most of the legislature. And in fact, there are other people who benefit, a very narrow and small group of people, admittedly, but those who sit on the boards of the likes of Core Civic, Geo Group, LaSalle Corrections, private prison profiteering corporations, and all of the private corporations that contract with the giant carceral state that makes Louisiana known as the world's incarcerated capital of the planet. And so what I want to put forward is that this bill, under the guise of being about the security of workers, or the security of citizens in particular, has nothing to do at all with the security of workers. That in fact, it's an effort to try to dupe workers into believing that the likes of Miguez are set about protecting us, and nothing more could be wrong. It is absolutely about dividing workers. And we're getting organized, both citizen-born, U.S.-born, and foreign-born workers. And it's time that you recognize that fact. Sooner or later you will, but I address myself here to the workers of Louisiana in saying that we have nothing to gain and everything to lose by supporting this horrible campaign to criminalize our immigrant brothers and sisters.
Thank you for your testimony. If you clear the table.